Hello, my name is Bettina Malka-Igelbusch and I'm the Director of the Reference and Information Services Department of the Yad Vashem Archives. And I would like to welcome you to Yad Vashem. And I would like to show you the items that your grandfather, Karl Abrams, donated to Yad Vashem. They actually were donated after he passed
That's
away.
right. Yeah, that was his will. That
Yes.
was in his will too.
Right. And those are actually the documents that were found on Rudolf Hess's possession when Karl Abrams arrested him after the war. So I think the most important item is the guest book that he carried with him, or that he had with him, which was actually the guest book that Rudolf Hess had in Auschwitz when he was living in a villa adjacent to the camp to Auschwitz I, and where visitors, his friends, his colleagues, who used to spend a vacation at the villa in Auschwitz, used to write dedications. So we have, this is the original, and I'm going to also show you the replica that we made, because we are not showing the original to people.
I understand
because it needs to be, it's not, we can't just show it to everyone, because then the material.
Oh, but you
is
do have
going to
an exact
deteriorate.
replica.
An exact replica. I'm going to show it to you. You won't
Okay.
be able to tell the difference.
Okay.
Okay.
But this is the original.
This is the original,
that's
right?
Okay. How was it? There's a story how it was made, wasn't it? Something to do with how this book was made, or
I don't
There was
actually
something
know
to
how
do.
it was made.
don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. Okay, hold on. So
This must have provided a lot of evidence, right, with all the signatures. Right?
I'm sure it did.
Mhm.
Hold on a second. Right. Oh, here. It's the other way around.
I'm just going to come around.
Yeah, I think that's the best. I'm just gonna.
And do we have
Turn the
we have the
leaves.
dates from 1940?
We have the dates, yeah, and then when I show you the replica, I can also show you, because Yad Vashem did actually a comparison of the dates that people wrote dedications and what happened on the same day in the camp for several of these dates, which is very interesting. You know, where people, they were celebrating, they were doing barbecues, they were, having friends over. Kids parties actually at the villa, children's birthdays for Hess's kids, and a few hundred meters away people were dying. And here, this for example, it says that the wonderful days that we spent in the hospitable house of Hess will always belong to our most beautiful vacation memories.
And this was in Auschwitz.
Yes.
Was it just a
In July 42, when they started with the mass exterminations in Birkenau.
And who signed it? Do we?
I can't really read the names. I think it's Gear or something, but it's not really. With wife and daughter. And then there's more. Everyone writes about the wonderful days and about the hospitality and all this. There's also one entry, I think, that somebody wrote in verse. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, here it is. He's writing in verse, which you usually do, in guest books. You write that kind of thing, but I mean.
No.
Yeah.
And this is in 1943.
Yes, July 1943. When, people were being murdered by the thousands every day. A beautiful memory of the old days. That's what it says here.
This was already going on to 1945.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 3 weeks before liberation. Right. talking about God here, which is really kind of
No.
God and faith
Vashem, sure.
in the homeland. I can't read the other. Wait a minute. In these times I came to see you or something. With God's will and the faith and the motherland. And this is just, some people just signed with their first names. This is euer Fritz, yours Fritz, which we don't know which Fritz it is. Yeah, it could be anyone. So
That's amazing that this
That's
survived.
yeah, he probably
That-
kept it as a,
He
you
kept it
know,
all the way.
he kept it all the way to all the way to the gallows. It's so telling that he was actually executed in Auschwitz. I mean, it was, you know, very
Right.
yeah.
But this must have provided evidence on other Nazis, right? The book. Did it provide?
Yeah, but I really I don't know. I actually don't know what he did with it. Your grandfather, what
Right.
he did with it during the time that it was in his possession.
Nothing. Just hid it away.
Yeah.
That was it. It was
But maybe I
everything.
don't know. Maybe he people were identified, but we don't really know
Right.
because it
Right.
just came to us in
Right.
88,
Right.
and we don't know really what
Right.
happened in the.
Well,
in
it came.
between.
Everything came all together with the
Right.
confession, the written confession.
Yes,
and
I'm
all
going to
that.
show you
Okay.
in the minute. I can't just
Sure. No,
you know
it's fine.
mix up
Yeah,
the
yeah.
documents
No,
from different
no.
files. So
Okay.
you have here these two pictures that were taken.
This is something new to me.
When he was-
I did not know that my grandfather had these pictures. These are very famous pictures, and
Yeah.
I never knew that my grandfather had these. This is the
they are,
British-
yeah, of course.
These are very famous. These you see a lot. These are very, and I never knew that was a.
Right.
And that's why. Do you think he could have taken them? He himself took them in? Because how come
Maybe
he?
he did. I don't know. Yeah, probably. Or someone who was with him from
Right.
that's when Hearst was arrested.
This is the only right.
And I don't know who the other person is,
Oh.
but it doesn't say.
Right.
This is Hearst's membership book of. It's a kind of association that I think was part of the SS or something.
Oh, this.
And it's his ID for this association, which was also found on him when he was arrested. Here's a picture. It is interesting. It just reminds me, you know, it has here his physical characteristics, like you have in a like you have in a passport or something, but a little bit more like his body, like his stature. You say, yeah. So what did it look like? The shape of his face, and in the concentration camps, we have documents, let's say from Buchenwald or other camps where they have these cards for each prisoner. And there you also have these physical characteristics, like color of eyes, color of hair. I don't know. So that was very important for them, probably. Those physical characteristics. And this is his family. Well, in Germany you have these when you get married, you get this book from the civil, from the civil office where you marry, and then everything is registered there, the marriage and then the children, and each family has this kind of book. So this is his, and it basically contains all the certificates, the marriage certificate and the birth certificates of the children. So this is his book. Gloves. So it has basically marriage certificates. This is his marriage certificate with his wife. Rudolf Franz Ferdinand Höss. And her name was Martha something.
Hedwig.
Yeah, her second name was Hedwig. Martha Hedwig Hensel. And then you have the children, birth certificates of the children. It's a little bit difficult to read. I can't really read the name here. This is something Traut. I'm not sure. This is a girl, but I think this is Klaus. Inge, Brigitte, and Hans Jürgen. So 4 kids, I guess. Right? And then you also have, towards the end of the book, you have, after the birth certificates, you have death certificates, if there are any deaths in the family, so they write that down. But this is basically until today. I have something like that too. I'm originally from Germany, and I was married also in a civil marriage besides the marriage in Israel. So I also have something like that. So these are the personal documents, and I'll just put this away. So
I didn't realize about this book. I did remember. I have this. I think I have on the papers regarding that, but I don't know German, so I didn't understand what it was about.
yeah,
So now,
sure, right, yeah.
What makes it quite amazing is that he was a family man with four children, which
Yes.
makes it even more.
Yeah. But so were most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, even those people who, did the mass shootings, and they had children at home. They went home on vacations, and it was like, that's the thing that's really so difficult to understand, how ordinary people could actually get to a point where they were, where they did those things. And this is Höss's testimony.
This is the original.
Yeah, that's the original, right. These documents are also all scanned in our database, but these are the
This is
original
original.
papers. Yeah, that's what he's.
it's all in German. This is no other place. Only you have this. Only Yad Vashem have this. The
Yes.
confession.
Yeah.
It's not in any other place.
No.
No.
If anyone wants to show it or wants to quote it or something, then they
Right.
turn to us for
That's right.
permission, right? Yeah, this is a short version of something longer that he wrote that I can also show you. But that's the testimony, the official testimony about the whole history of Auschwitz and his function there.
Do you have any idea why he did the testimony? Why he actually, why he wrote it? Why he agreed to testify?
That's a good question.
Because it's actually
Well, you see, these people.
maybe he was proud. Maybe they.
Yes, of course, yes. Basically, those people they really believed in what they were doing. They believed that for the sake of the survival of the Aryan and the German race, they were supposed to wage this war on inferior races, and especially Jews. So they were, the more the better, and this was really, I think at one point in this longer testimony that he wrote, while in prison, that's after they caught him, and when he already knew what was going to happen to him, he didn't regret or anything. He said that the establishment of Birkenau was the happiest day of his life or something. So, you can, because then he could show to his superiors what he was able to do there. and that he was able to reach the goals, and that he was able to, he was leading the biggest extermination machine in the whole Third Reich. So these people were really ideologically behind what they were doing. It's not that they were like they were forced to do it, or even the little people who shot, who took part in the mass shootings, for example, they had a choice. You always have a choice. They had a choice. Yeah, because what the Nazis wanted. I'm talking about the Einsatzgruppen, about the people who went into the Soviet Union and shot people there. They were recruited, mostly police forces, which was actually also was in the SS, and the whole SS and police was one department that was under Heinrich Himmler, under the command of Heinrich Himmler, and he was also in charge of these Einsatzgruppen. And the people who were recruited were trained, and they used drugs, they used alcohol and all this kind of stuff, but in the end they had a choice. So if someone said, I want to be removed from this unit because I can't do this anymore, they didn't have to. They didn't face any consequences. They just removed them because they needed motivated people for these units because of the work that they were doing. So nobody had to fear anything. You could just say, I don't want to do this anymore, and that was it. So in the end, it was a matter of choice. Unlike the war, when you fight and you enlisted, and that's it. But as we know today, of course, the Wehrmacht was also used for executions and for murder and stuff, to help these.
I think my grandfather, there was a handwritten confession also, right?
Yes. A second. So this is
by Hess, he signed it, isn't it? A handwritten confession.
Yeah, it's here. One second. I just have to close this and put it aside so we won't mix up any of these. Just remember it was this. No, it's not this. So it's supposed to be in here. Just lost my This is not related. It's just because those items get numbers and they are put together in folders. So this is here it is. Here it is. This is page 2. Let's see. I guess it's part of it. It's not the whole thing. Page 1 is missing, I see. But this is actually his handwriting. Oh no, it says 2, but it's the beginning, because he says his birth date and I was born as the son of etc. Here he writes about the process of the gassing. It's incredible. This is probably a copy or something, because it starts with the same sentence, that he was born on such and such a date. And here, like it says, Now he writes about the transports of Jews from Slovakia in 1941. There came the first transports of Jews from Slovakia. We know that they were in June 19, I think it was June, March or June, I'm not sure, when the first transports from Slovakia with Jewish prisoners. Because as you know, Auschwitz was, in the beginning, Auschwitz was a camp for prisoners of war. At the beginning for Polish prisoners of war, and then when Germany attacked the Soviet Union, they enlarged it a little bit. And then, and Birkenau was only built when they decided that it's going to be an extermination camp. Let's see if we can find his signature here.
You know Yad Vashem?
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother really gave absolutely everything. You have all this information. They want in the British Intelligence Museum in England. They know that Karl Abrahams arrested Hess. They know that, but all this information with regards to Hess, Yad Vashem has absolutely everything.
Mm.
They don't have anything about with regards to the arrest.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's it's very. Like everything,
It's amazing.
not one paper, nothing, nothing whatsoever,
Wow. Yeah.
nothing whatsoever.
That's really
Because
interesting.
what I understood from the personal letters that my grandfather wrote to my grandmother, it was really something that was my grandfather and another soldier, and that they literally were working very hard on finding Hess, and so that's
Right.
how they were able to, obviously, like, thank God, like, come
Yes.
to that,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, because he went into hiding at
Mhm.
first, and then they caught him.
Yeah.
Right.
But now I didn't realize quite so much. This is even, it's more and more information, more and more. I didn't realize so much. Because it always, I never knew where these pictures were from. Somebody asked me, they said, are these connected to your grandfather? And I said, no, I don't think so. But obviously here it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm surprised to see this here, that he gave these pictures. There was somebody in the media, they said, where are these pictures from? These are the only ones, like, actually at that time. And I said,
these are the original. These are
these
the
original. The
Yeah,
original were
yes.
given, and I said, I don't
Those
think
are
it's
the
I don't think it's connected, but obviously it is. So I was wrong, because it's totally, like, I mean, unfortunately my grandfather passed away when I was only 3 years old. So I remember him, but I didn't get the chance to really speak with him.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
But it's like, I'm just learning so much the whole time, that how, like, his involvement with the arrest was really, like, he was really involved. He was
It's very significant.
very significant.
Yeah,
Very
yes.
significant.
This is,
Yeah, I think he was the one person who arrested her.
He was the
right?
one. He was the one, and all this, because it just proves it's. And so, like, now it's like
Oh, but no, here's something in English. Maybe this is. ראו, את יודעת, זה הכל סרוק, כל הדברים האלה סרוקים, את יודעת?
אני חושבת שזה באור 51.
Okay. Here, this is already, I think this is about about the investigation. Yeah, here this actually explains how he was caught, I think. Let me see. And had received information via Umland agency that the wife of SS Obersturmbannführer Höss, ex-commandant in George's Auschwitz camp, was living in the sugar factory St. Michaelis Don. Yeah, that's the information about how they found him. Wow. And about the informers, I think. We were receiving information from two separate informers, Umland and Öst. So they what I can what I can see from these few lines here is that they were obviously, the informers got information that they planned a meeting of former party members to meet somewhere in secret, and that's how they found him. But we can, if you would like this information.
Oh no, I
we
have
could,
copies of it.
You
Yes, I
have copies of all of this? Okay. So that's basically that's basically about how he was found. And they also talk here about other people. And then they asked them about this, whether they knew about his whereabouts or whatever. They interrogated all kinds of people here. Oh, and Hess's wife also gave information about other people whom they wanted to arrest.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think I have copies of it.
And they called her husband, so she,
She had to go home, yeah.
And there's no signature here, just says Sergeant something. And this is the long. It's called Confession. The long document that he wrote during his when he was in prison.
This is during when he was in prison.
Yeah.
So how was my grandfather able to get access to this? Unbelievable. How was he able to? He must have been in charge of it, right? I haven't seen
Yeah,
this.
maybe
Is
he
new
was in
to
charge,
me.
or he got reports.
Yes. Yeah.
This is 90 something
I never.
pages.
Wow, I never saw this. This is also never knew about this.
It's a very detailed report.
Never knew about this.
He writes about how he established Auschwitz, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All from the organizational point of view, and also he writes about his. It's very. I haven't read the whole document, but he also talks about how he felt with the whole thing, and that he always had to motivate his people. You know, he said, I couldn't walk through the camp and see something terrible and show that I'm like disgusted or whatever. That's what he says here. I don't know, because I had to keep my face for the people, so they would be, they would know that. I mean, I don't know if that's true, if he's just saying that, but it's kind of really.
This is when he was held in prison.
That's when he was held in prison. Yeah. But it's actually very interesting that he talks about all the problems that were there, and we know that when Auschwitz was established, at first they had, when he when he was supposed to build Birkenau, they had, there was a shortage of everything. They didn't get enough budget, and all this kind of thing. And he said, I have to struggle with all this bureaucracy, and I'm not getting people, and I'm not getting materials, and all this kind of stuff. And it's documented. I mean, what he says here was true, that he had really like difficulties, like all kinds of logistic problems with the establishment of Auschwitz. And his people weren't working hard enough, and all this kind of stuff. I have all these idiots around me. That's what he says here. Like, you can't work with these people. They're just.
How do you know? Sorry, how do you know it was written when he was in prison? Because of the dates, where it was.
Because that is what. Wait a
what
minute.
date is written?
Yeah, I think either it says it in the document or it has a date in the end.
Because the time of when he was captured was 44. Wasn't it
46 here. What's February 1947.
Oh, so no, it was during that. Yes, it was after.
Right.
So that just shows.
I think he was caught in 46.
It just shows you because even when he was.
This last passage is something. Because he speaks, as I said, he speaks also about his emotions and everything. So in the last sentence, it's a kind of. it's a kind of confession for the people who live after him, because at that point he knew, of course, that he was going to be executed. So the last sentence here says, I don't care that the public will continue to see in me the monster, the terrible sadist, the murderer of millions, because they can't understand that the commandant of Auschwitz could also have had a heart. That's basically more or less what this last passage says. Yeah. So it looks as if he wanted to
like a memoir, isn't it?
To show the soft side and to make people understand that after all that he'd done, he was still a human being. I mean, it's incredible. It's just, it's hair-raising, this document. I've not, as I said, I haven't read it in its entirety, but the passages that I saw, they're just.
I didn't realize my grandfather provided this also. So my grandfather, it's like he arrested him and then he was very much involved afterwards.
Yeah. Obviously. Either he was involved personally, or he got all the papers. He got the reports.
He was personally involved.
Yeah. So this
do we know anything about his wife and his children?
Do I know?
Do we know anything what happened to his children, or?
I don't know. Do you know? Are you aware of any? Hess's family?
I think there's a book of letters that Hess wrote to his wife, and maybe there something is written. I would assume.
I once saw a TV film of his grandson, who spoke about being the grandson of Rudolf Hess, and he visited Auschwitz. It was on one of the Yom HaShoah, in one of the Yom HaShoah productions of it, like a few years back. And he was together with other relatives of major Nazis, and he visited Auschwitz, and he was very much afraid of that visit. So the person who was accompanying him was an Israeli journalist who was stationed in Germany, very famous one. What's his name? Eldad Beck, right. So Eldad Beck accompanied him through all this journey, and he said like he postponed the visit to Auschwitz all the time, and at one time, like before he finally got on the train, he said, I wanted to break my leg so as not to have to go there. And then he accompanied him to the camp, and there was a very, very emotional encounter with a survivor. There were kids, Israeli students, who were meeting a survivor, and then Hess met them, and those kids were very, very hard on him. And one of the school children asked him, "What would you do to your grandfather if you met him right now?" And he'd say, "I'd strangle him with my own hands."
Really? And
then this survivor who was listening came up to the front where he was standing and hugged him. That was an incredible, I mean, and it was an incredible encounter. It was really, wow. So some of the descendants, obviously, the Allies didn't do anything to the families, not to the wives, not to the kids.
No.
But the people have to deal with that. It's, it's an incredible burden that you have to carry, and you deal with it one way or other. So for him, that visit to Auschwitz was obviously. He also made a tour of the villa where his grandfather had lived, and it was which you don't usually. It's not usually accessible to visitors, but he was there, and it was very, very emotional and very hard for him actually to.
And the villa still is it?
It's still there.
Can you go visit, or it's
you can, but I think you need special permission because it's kind of private property or something. That's what I understood. It doesn't belong to the Auschwitz museum complex, but you can get, if you really want access, you can get it. So, yeah.
I was interested in seeing a document with that signed by Hitler. I think there was something.
Yeah. Yes. So wait, let's just put this away. Yeah, you better leave on your gloves. I think it's just when to touch a document with Hitler's signature. I came down here like earlier and I checked out what was here.
Oh gosh.
And I touched, and I didn't have the gloves on, and then I went upstairs and I washed my hands with soap and water and alcohol gel and I don't know what. So these are, and actually I don't really know how they. I mean, it's really interesting to know. I don't know if you know, but how these things got into your grandfather's possession, because they were not related to
No,
Hess.
but what I understood is that from all the personal letters, he was very much involved in tracking down Hess, extremely involved.
Yeah.
And so obviously because he was so involved, he was able to have access to all this.
Those.
He was
Okay.
very involved.
Yeah,
He was
right.
extremely involved. Every time I keep learning more and more and more how much more so.
Because these are actually not. This is, for example, it's not related to Hess or anything. It's just.
What is this?
It's just said that this is Hitler's signature. And this just says that he promotes someone, this Dr. Wilhelm Bern, to the rank of, oh my God, Brigadeführer. I'm sorry, I don't know. It's some kind of officer's rank in the SS. I don't really.
And this
Major
is
General of the
In
Waffen-SS.
1944. That was all around. That was at the time of he was stationed at that time.
and this is the signature.
This is Hitler's signature.
You've seen this in other places, that signature?
It's in very few places. Yeah.
Is this one of the very few that Yad Vashem has?
Right, yeah. We have one other document that's actually exhibited in the museum, I don't know if you saw it, where Hitler signed the order on the euthanasia. And that also has his original signature. So this is one, wait a minute, there are more documents here.
Where's this one?
That's a Christmas card.
But one second.
To someone,
This is
we don't know.
This is something separate, yes?
This is something separate, but it was all in the same donation, is what I.
And this is
So
a Christmas card from
It's
Hitler.
a Christmas card from Hitler to someone, we don't know to
I'm
whom.
sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
But my grandfather, he provided this, right? This also?
Yes.
No. This is also? No.
I think that this
think
particular
this one.
file,
This one. This
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
This he
only-
provided, and not this
Right.
one.
No.
I think they
Put them together, they combined it. I understand. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were only very few documents
Very
with the
few.
original signature, they
understand.
put them
To
into
put
one
together.
file.
Can I
but
ask you a
this is
favor?
not
Is it possible to read what he writes?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah. It says, it is my pleasure to present to you, like in the years before, the enclosed package, the content of which well, this was 44, so he said he put all kinds of stuff together into the package from what he had left or something. It's not really clear, but it's something leftovers of something. It's just not very nice to write. As a Christmas present.
And he says he uses the word Christmas.
Yes, Weihnachtsgeschenk. With the best wishes for Christmas and the New Year. Yours, Adolf Hitler. And we don't know to whom this was sent. It's not clear. Oh yeah, this is also, but again, it's not, these are documents that are not signed by Hitler, but they belong to him. This is that he got money to go when he was in the army. That was here in 1919. He got money to go from one place to the other. To his, he had to go to. As a soldier, he had to move from one place to the other, and he got. This is a kind of receipt that he got, or a confirmation that he got the money for the fare from the army. But this is when Hitler was a soldier, and this is his immunization certificate from 1891, when he was 2 years old.
This is when he was 2 years old.
This is when Hitler was 2 years old, yes. Hitler Adolf, born in Braunau on April 20th, 1889, was vaccinated on the 12th of June 1891 with liquid material or whatever against smallpox. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. But these are not. This is the only document that was actually donated by Karl Abrams. That's it.
Okay, thank you for explaining. I've learned so much now, and I didn't know all the extra information.
You're welcome.
Really,
You're
really
very
good.
welcome. And Reut, do you have anything to add? Maybe anything information on the documents? Because Reut is much more an expert than I am.
I thought that maybe you would like to see.
I wanted to show you the replica. Actually, was important.
The 1937 Jahrbuch. I think you asked in particular
Oh,
about
right,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Because
one.
it is also signed.
Who's by Hess? Or
I think not, but
who's it signed? Oh, this is a signature.
Oh, Christian Borg, Alfred. Who's that?
there is a section of
Yeah.
Okay, I washed my hands earlier, so the lab told me it's okay if I. Okay, here. But I thought that you asked in particular about this book, but I don't know what who signed it.
The diary, that's right. Is this Hess's diary? Private diary? No.
Let's see the handwriting. Maybe we can make it out from him,
somebody-
because it doesn't have any description, so I'm
Yeah.
not really sure.
Mhm.
What's this? Oh, it's not here. Wysznia, mogłabym za to sobie?
Could be the personal diary. Young man.
No, it's a little bit different, but sometimes handwriting is not, not exactly the same on every.
This is the same one. This is an extension. What is this one?
This.
No, that's a kind of booklet. It's like a personal Bible of,
Oh,
National
like a
Socialist pamphlets
Amazing.
and messages and stuff.
Oh, that is like a
It's
yeah.
like a
This is a copy of the signature here. Like a copy as if here.
yeah, that's a copy. It's not really his.
No, it's not the real, but it's
yeah.
like a copy.
So it was probably distributed to
yeah.
SS or whatever,
Yeah.
to people who. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like the same handwriting to me. Doesn't look like it, but.
But these are the postcards for Hess, isn't it? Correspondence. This is personal, right?
Mutti? No, maybe that's.
Or some different. This is all in the same. This is all. This is all together.
Yeah, no, but this is a.
Yes, it's all part. Yeah, this is all part.
It's a kind of eclectic collection of.
Oh, this is a personal. This is a personal letter. What is this photocopied here? The personal
that's
letters also?
Wait a minute, I think that's the.
This is from the letter in English that my grandfather wrote to my grandmother. This is a copy of it. I have the original at home, the original letter.
That's how do you call that? The Lagerordnung. It's how the concentration camp, all the laws for the running the concentration camps, Lagerordnung.
Wow. So this is how you received it, or this is the copies you made copies. Yad Vashem made copies.
No, that's how we received it. That's
Really?
That's in the
Wow.
original.
This is in
file,
the original.
So we got a copy. It's not
I
the
understand.
original. Yeah.
This is
what we
you
got.
received.
Right.
I understand.
And then whatever we receive, we consider an original, even if it's not the original
Well, of
paper.
course,
because-
right? Yes, to do with this, right? This is like writings, isn't it? It's amazing how he was able to have access to this, right? How he was able to.
Yeah.
It's
And this
amazing.
is your grandfather's?
Provided everything.
He provided
everything.
this.
Provided everything.
And did you know that your grandfather had the document with Hitler's signature on?
I knew when I first saw the letter, the correspondence from a few years ago. Yes, I knew that. Yeah, that I know.
Growing up, you knew?
No, not growing up. Only 7 years ago. When my father only told me 7 years ago. My grandfather.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I didn't know. No.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And this 1 second, I didn't know about these pictures. This
if you
is
can just
today.
see
This is
if you can see the pictures again, this is incredible.
So these are these pictures my grandfather provided Yad Vashem with 40 years ago, and this is really.
When you look at the picture, it's so hard to believe that this was such a monster,
realize that.
such a.
Yes. Yeah, he looks more
It's
like
hard
he
to
looks more
comprehend.
like a scared animal
Yeah.
here or something.
What's that?
I'm gonna know. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to show you was the.
And also another thing I'm amazed about, that what Hess wrote while he was in prison, that I didn't know about. That I really and I know, and that my grandfather provided it. Like
The
now it's sort of
confession.
clear. No, the confession of Vidoy, I knew that, but I didn't know after that provided that.
Very detailed.
Yeah,
Right.
because I knew that my grandfather was away a long time after the capture, and he says he needs to take care of things, otherwise things wouldn't be taken care of, and so I understand now there was things that he was very involved in.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of clarity. Thank you so much for going through all this information. Really, thank you.
Do you know what?
Thank you.
Do you know what his motivation was? I mean, apart from that, he obviously wanted to catch a major Nazi, but did he have any personal? Did he have family that perished in Auschwitz, or you
no,
know?
it was just he just wanted to do the right thing, and nobody knew. Nobody knew. Only my grandmother knew when he was alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all those years he didn't tell?
No, I didn't tell anyone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was-
Wow.
And these documents with Hitler's signature.
Nobody knew.
Where was it kept? In
He had it kept in a drawer in a cupboard, locked away. Nobody knew anything. Only my grandmother. But my
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
and also the army. They, the
Yeah, of
British
course.
army. They knew.
Obviously.
And they knew that that was he.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to show you now,
Okay.
you see here also it says here who the donor
Right.
is, and I can wait. I'll turn
Did
it
you want to
around.
see?
donated in memory of Karl Abrams, Liverpool, England.
Now, just put this a little bit here. Now this is the replica that I told you that we made of the guest book, and actually also of the other items.
Was this on display at one time, or not? It's only for people that request to see it.
No, this is the replicas that we have here in the archive, we show to important visitors, to official visitors, and many people who come here get to see it. It's not in the museum. I can't. I can't speak for the museum, but I can imagine that because the focus of the museum is on Jewish documentation. It's less. They don't want to exhibit Nazi memorabilia. Right? So not to make it a point
I understand.
of access to people, who
So you show
have
this
nostalgia
copy.
or something.
But
Yes.
this is kept
This is kept safe.
safe. I understand.
And this is the copy, so you can see here.
I think I remember Malka Weisberg telling me. You know Malka
Yes,
Weisberg?
of course.
That she,
Sure. Yeah. So here you can see. It's a little bit. They made it a little bit different because it was
Right.
difficult to do the same binding, but you can see it's the same.
Wow. It's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same
amazing.
You
thing.
can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, it's very well done. It's incredible.
This is done in our lab.
Looks like the original. It really does.
Yeah.
So what is important for you to know is basically that it's not on display in the museum, but many people see it here.
Sure.
And
But this is like I really respect Yad Vashem that they made the copy because it's better to keep.
of
that
course,
so
yeah. We can't. I mean, if so many people, handle it and touch it,
this is the correct thing. This
it's
is
going to
correct,
deteriorate very quickly. So this is
Right.
right. And we also have everything actually that was donated.
Oh, that's the letter. Oh, that's
Yeah,
the
that's
letter.
a letter to your grandmother,
This is the letter.
right.
Yeah.
This is the confession. It's all a replica.
And do many people ask to see the diary or
Actually, we show it, and some people ask
the
for it,
book?
but mostly we show it to people on our own accord. And this is, I must really say, this is one of the most, how to put it, the most interesting artifacts that we have that we have replica of, that we show to people here.
Yeah.
Because it's just the incredibility of this item. I mean, that he kept this guest book at the villa, next to the camp.
The guest
It's
book
really
is-
disturbing.
Yeah,
It's
right.
sad.
Yeah, so we show this very often, and also usually the people who come here are official visitors or donors of Yad Vashem, international like heads of states come to visit, and that's when we show these things. Here, I wanted to show you this. This is what I told you about. Here you have the translation of what is written in the diary, and here is what happened in the camp at the same day.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is very.
It's just there are just no words. It's just unbelievable.
This was probably a very close friend.
I can't believe that. That's why.
Yeah. No, it's terrible. And that's how we usually present it. We present excerpts from the guest book, and then tell people, look what happened at the same day in the camp. Oh yeah, that's the Willi Gehr.
So can one just read just one little?
Yeah, that's I think what I translated to you is that the wonderful days we spent at the Hers house would always remain to our most beautiful vacation memories.
Willi Gehr, wow, 1942.
And this other, somebody, something else.
Yeah.
This is I was able to enjoy a pleasant Sunday at the Hess home in Auschwitz. Okay, yeah. And here you also have the whole history of the item. So people who come here to show items to the public, they usually prepare themselves. They read about it and then they can explain it. There's like the background information and of course who donated it and everything. So these items are researched and then we put this information here and whoever presents it to the public can read about it beforehand and then present it. And you have here like items of discussion that you could discuss with the people who are visiting, suggestions for further discussion. Yeah, and here are these documents that I showed to you. This card of also
it's very well done. It's
what are these pictures? Is this connected or no?
Yeah, but I don't actually. This is from newspapers. This is just
This is not
like for further information. It's not those that your grandfather
wasn't
donated.
that's what I'm saying.
Those are
That's
here.
not connected.
Those are here. These two.
Unbelievable. I see.
And all the other pictures are illustrations for when you talk about this guest book.
so it becomes very real.
This is, for example, the children's party at the Hess Villa.
Jeez.
Kids playing in the swimming pool. That's in the garden of Hess's Villa when it was. These are just what I was saying is that these pictures are being used for further explanation when you talk about the guest book. This is a picture from a newspaper where this photo, I don't know who the photo owns, it's not us, but it was published in a newspaper saying that this is a picture from a garden party with kids in the Hess Villa during the war. And this is pictures of the Hess Villa today. The way it looks.
So the truth is, while people were being gassed and killed, the kids were swimming in the water, in the pool.
Yeah, as I said, they were doing barbecues, and this is the gallows that Hess was executed on in Auschwitz.
And here we have a picture.
That's the villa. The way it looks today. Like this is the. I guess that's the entrance. I don't know. The entrance to the garden. Here you can see.
And these pictures.
This is more here. This is one of the kids, and this guy is his driver. And these are also other pictures. This is the famous.
That's aerial.
The famous aerial photograph, of Birkenau. No, it's not Birkenau. Sorry, it's the old camp, Camp 1.
It was Auschwitz, yeah.
Auschwitz main camp. Yes. These are women. It's in the women's camp.
This is just unbelievable.
These are the copies of those two photographs that he actually donated.
I just say thank you.
Oh, and
I
this
just wanted
shows
to-
the location of the villa.
I just want to thank you so much. This
You're
has
welcome.
been, there's just no words really. I am just no words. It's been astounding to see this, to actually be in a room where you see Hitler's signature and you see the original guest book. Thank you so much for doing this and what you do
You're
here at
welcome.
Yad Vashem.
And we're very grateful to your family, you know, for these well, these priceless documents. I mean, really. This is a map of Auschwitz, the camp, and this is the location of the villa. So you can see it was just close to. It was close to the prisoners' barracks here. And Birkenau, where actually the mass extermination took place, was only 4 kilometers away. So you know, you could see the smoke, you could smell.
So the villa is where you have the Aleph.
Yes, where the colored dot is.
It's really, it's just on the border.
Mm-hmm.
Literally meters away.
Yeah. Right. Oh, here actually. Wait a minute. We have actually a map here where you can see this. Where you can see this map shows the whole area of the camp. And this here is Auschwitz I. That's where the villa would be on the bottom right, I think. And you see that, and that's over there is Birkenau. So you see that it's really very, very close. That was when Birkenau was in the planning. So they painted it, you know, they drew it on a map of the area where it was supposed to be.
And this is the original map.
No, it's not the original, but I can show you the
Where's it
original if you want. This is a replica. But
A replica. You have the original?
Yes. I can, if you have a few more minutes, I can show you some maps.
Okay, sure, this is incredible.
This also, it really is very interesting. And well, basically. Just if you want me to show you the maps, I need to put this away. Gives me this table. Of this, of those pictures? Sure.
These are the originals.
Those are the originals.
Sheila? Ah, okay. So, there. Let's go.
Thank you very, very much, and thank you as well. Thank you so much.
Ruth works in my department, and she's an archival consultant. She's actually the expert, as I said.